Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm Jamal Arif, and I'm part of the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure team. In this session, we will talk about Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Registry Service. It's a level 200 course. This is our safe harbor statement. All right, so the major objectives of this session is to just describe the OCIR registry service and also how you can manage with the registry service itself, creating repos, creating public and private repositories, uploading your images, and how you can use those images within a Kubernetes cluster as well. All right, so the OCIR registry service is an Oracle managed registry that enables you to simplify your development to production workflow. The registry makes it easy for you as a developer to store and share and manage development artifacts like Docker images. And the underlying highly available and scalable architecture of OCI really ensures that you can reliably deploy your applications without any worry about the operational issues or even scaling your underlying infrastructure. Within the registry service, you can use it as a private Docker registry for internal use, pushing and pulling Docker images to and from the registry using the standard Docker V2 API and the standard Docker command line interface. You can also use the registry as a public Docker registry, enabling any user with internet access and knowledge of the appropriate URL to pull images from public repositories in OCI. The OCI registry is integrated with IAM. So basically, it provides an easy authentication with native OCI identity. So before we create repositories in the OCI registry service, there are a couple of things that the user needs to have. So just like I talked earlier that OCIR is integrated with the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Identity Service. So you need to have specific permissions for individual users to manage the OCI registry. So the first, for instance, over here, there are given a couple of examples. So in the first example, this policy statement says that allow group Acme viewers to inspect repos in tenancy. So the reason when we mention inspect, that means that this only allows all the users in group Acme viewers to list all the repositories in the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Registry. So they cannot create or delete repositories. They can only list all the repositories in the OCI registry. If you want to give completely open, you can say all the one who can actually do basically anything with the repos within the tenancy, then you can use the second statement which says that allow group Acme managers to manage repositories in tenancy. So in this case, the Acme managers group, all the users in that group are able to create repositories, delete repositories. They can pull an image, push an image, basically create private or public repositories. They can completely manage the repositories in your tenancy. Within the IAM, you can also specifically allow users to only look at repositories which have certain names, or if you want to allow certain repositories to be inspected. So you can go a bit deeper into that as well. Reason being that since it is integrated with the identity service, so you can use policy infrastructure uh, and really provide granular access to your users using it within the registry service itself. One thing to note over here is that the repos is a tenancy level resource. So you need to provide like add all of these policies in the root compartment of your tenancy. So how do you create a repository within the registry service? So you can create private or public repositories. All you need to go is that you navigate yourself to the registry service itself, and when you're creating a registry, it just asks you a repository name and whether that repository is public or private. It's also a regional service, so you can create a repository in all the different regions of OCI, and it would ask you whether it's a private or a public repository. Once the repository is created, then you can use uh, like standard Docker V2 APIs or CLI to push or pull images to the OCI. The first step is that you create an authentication token for your user, because that's how you are going to uh, basically uh, log in into the Docker V2 registry service. So the first step is that once you have created the authentication token, you go ahead and just log in by providing the command Docker login and the region code .ocir.io. The region codes are all of them are mentioned over here. It asks you the tenancy name and the username, and then and you also need to provide the authentication token which is associated with your user. Once you have done once you have added and you're logged into the OCIR, from there onwards it's just like regular commands to basically push and pull your images to the repository. You can tag your image with a command that is provided over here, and then just push your image with the docker push command to the to any of the regions. So if it's an Ashburn region, you can do iid.ocir.io and with your tenancy and the image name. And similarly, you can also do use the pull commands to pull your images from the region as well. This just gives you a snapshot of all the details within the console. So you can see that when you launch, when you when you like push an image to the registry service, it gives you a list of all the image layers which are associated to that image. So all of these layers are then joined together to form that final image that you have, but it gives you the detail of all the layers that are combined to create that image for you. Within the console, it also gives you the options of deleting that image or copying a pull command, which you can then use to directly pull that image on your on your host. The registry service is also integrated with the Kubernetes cluster, with the Kubernetes service, so you can directly pull images from the registry into your Kubernetes deployments. The complete steps are provided in the documentation, but just to give you a high level overview, what you can do is that within your Kubernetes deployment, you can create a Docker registry secret, which basically contains your credentials to access your registry service. So the credentials are again the same, your username and password, your tenancy and username, and then your authentication token for your registry service. Once you have created that secret within your Kubernetes, you can then utilize that secret to pull images from your Kubernetes, from the registry service within your Kubernetes infrastructure, within your Kubernetes deployment. So the command is given over here. You can first create a secret and then use that to pull the images as well. So this actually completes uh, our registry service session. And once again, thank you for joining and see you next time.